astrological, astronomical, numerological report with your girl Sunshine Monet L. I'm doing this live from the bed because my leg is swollen. I was a little hard on my body today, and then I didn't realize I went to like make some. I bought this orange sauce, and I cooked my broccoli in it. Didn't realize there was so much sodium in it, so that's how it started, and it's ending with And I was trying to go throughout my day because I had some goals that I've been looking forward to all week, and here we are. Here we are. Okay, that was the intro. But we talk about the stars and the numbers here, so let's chat about it. Um, Today, well, yesterday, the 30th, we got to experience a star. Did you guys have fun doing your pentagrams and your stars? With Saturn and Neptune being at the top. I hope so. We still have that star in motion today. The fortune has moved on, so now it's more so just Saturn and Neptune at the top of the star. Um, the top right side of the star is Pluto and Capricorn in the ninth house. The bottom is the moon in Scorpius in the sixth house. On the other side of the star, we have Venus in the third house in Cancer, and then we have Uranus in the 12th house of Taurus. For those of you guys who were not here yesterday, that is a star. We do have a star in our constellations right now. We also have a couple other shapes I wanted to talk to you about. So we actually have like three triangles going on, and we have a cross happening. So on top of the star, the triangle that we have going on is Saturn and Neptune are pretty much the star of the show right now. Like really finding a sense of authority over your dreams and your belief system, starting to believe in yourself, is a big one here. But like, I ain't gonna say what to believe in. It's about you being in charge of what you choose to be in, and not you flowing into what somebody else told you to believe. A lot of challenges come into the different illusions that have been created in our space. Come into it's like it's spiritual and generational, the amount of things that are coming to an end in our belief system, things that are coming to an end in our infrastructure and our systems, and our spaces of authority and all that. And so that's, the divine alignment of Neptune and Saturn and Pisces in that 11th house of revolutionary, rebellious energy, the power to be one with all, society, all that. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome. So Saturn and Neptune are definitely like the stars of the show right now. On top of it being the top of the star, the triangles, the one side, we have an obtuse triangle with Neptune and Pisces being at the top, and on the one side we have Uranus and Taurus in the 12th house, and then on the other side of the base of this triangle we have Pluto providing those transformations and our structure, Capricorn constellation in the ninth house of our wisdom and our sacral chakra, you know, the authority over what we find joy in, the structure of our entertainment system. Pluto's opening up many secrets to that. And we see that a lot. My mind always comes to Cat Williams. Cat Williams, when he was on that show, and he said a lot of things. Club, was it Shay Shay or whatever? But he had revealed a lot, and I was like heavy on the Pluto and Capricorn Aquarius energy, and it being in the ninth house right now, it's dealing heavily with our sacral chakra, things we find joy in, things that have been pleasing to our sensual sexual stuff, a lot of empowering transformations, but the truth comes out in a very messy, dramatic way here. Thank you for tapping the screen. I really appreciate you too. um so that's heavy there. And then like the different structures and the systems that have been feeding the sacral chakra, whether it's the food system, because that's we eat for pleasure, we're pleasure eaters, right? um the sex industry, any type of entertainment industry, the media, um you know Sagittarius energy deals with the wisdom from the oracle and the sages. So in the space, we're also dealing with like spiritual education or spiritual training. is undergoing those transformations as well. People in those realms, pastors, leaders, spiritual leaders, also some messy secrets coming out about them. And we're just going to keep seeing that. And it's just going to keep coming out. Pluto is at a 7 degree in this constellation. I know that it is in Aquarius on the tropical, on, our thought process. We're thinking about the transformations to society and how to be rebellious. It's still in our thoughts. It's not necessarily happening in our actions yet until Pluto enters Aquarius constellation. And so that's probably why it seems like America moves so slow, Americans move so slow in comparison to how, the other countries react when their Capricorn is acting up, you know what I'm saying? Or certain secrets and stuff. Shouts to Indonesia right now. Peace to those, peace to the people that's fighting Israel, whatever war, because they get their hands in a lot of different places. But I ain't trying to get myself, I want y'all to hear what I gotta say, so I ain't gonna say too much on that because you already know how they move over here. We're being censored, and in a friendly way, we're being censored. It's not like outright or whatever. It's more like an algorithm situation. But y'all know, if you know, you know. But that's all Pluto happening in and Capricorn for them. It's in, they're more so on the constellation astrology, where us over here, we're more so on the zodiac, which is our thoughts, how we're thinking things, our education, how we're being raised and upbringing to be. But that doesn't mean that's what it is. That's why when a lot of people learn about Vedic astrology or nakshatras or the constellation astrology, or even zoning into the actual stars that the planets are nearby, they quickly want to do away with the tropical chart, like, because you realize that the constellations and the nakshatras actually deal with events and happenings, what's going on. I do both because the tropical deals with your mindset while the events are happening, and I think that that's like a really good balance. I also do the draconic chart, which is faster than both of those charts. And that's when we get into, like, the spiritual experience, and our aura is way bigger than our physical body. So that's another very interesting chart to get into if you guys ever find yourself interested in your spiritual experience, while your mindset in the tropical is doing its thing and your events is happening in the constellations accordingly. But anyway, coming back to the triangle. So we have this triangle, really about manifesting our dreams. Hopefully, you guys are becoming an authority of self in what you believe in and things. And we have Uranus providing us with the progressive pushes and bringing things to a close on one end, and we have Pluto providing the empowering transformations on the other side. Coming to find out how underrated astrology is. Oh, you came to the right place. Um, and then we have another triangle, which is actually equilateral triangle, which is really exciting. I love when I see equilateral triangles. And this equilateral triangle is actually a part of the star. So it goes literally right underneath the obtuse triangle. So the top point is still Saturn and Neptune. And the basis of that triangle is the moon and Scorpius transformations happening in our comfort zone. I told you guys yesterday, if y'all are comfortable in your comfort zone and you're not trying to leave your comfort zone, stop manifesting. Stop asking for things. Stop asking for increase. Stop asking for abundance. Stop manifesting breaking generational curses. Stop trying to manifest transformations in society. Stop being a part of the conversation of building on your dreams. Because if you want to stay in your comfort zone, you can't speak on none of that. Go stay in your comfort zone. Okay? Otherwise, if you're speaking on these things, you got to know that you are going to get pulled out of your comfort zone, and it's not going to be comfortable. Like, it's going to be very challenging. It's going to be very transformational. It's, the universe is way bigger than us and our mindset and the events happening. So that means that the universe is in rooms and sees people and experiences and portals that we can't see. They're not in our eyesight. We do have our intuition, we do have our third eye, we have the ability to astral project. And you know what I'm saying? So if some of you guys are very adamant about those activities, of course you guys have more insight when the universe is doing its thing. You trust the process. But for those of you guys who are not actively in those spaces, and engaging in those activities, sometimes the actions that the universe are doing are kind of unexplainable and confusing. Like, oh man, I thought you was on my side. Why'd you make that person leave? Or why did you allow this to happen? Or this, that, and the third. Do you think organizations like NASA will boost your knowledge and abilities with astrology? I use NASA to an extent, um, but I'm not a fan of NASA. Did you know that NASA was created with the intentions of just testing how far they can get bombs across the sky? NASA wasn't even created for astronomical purposes. The astronomical information is a cover up. That's not what NASA's for. And so that's why I don't really get in it with NASA too much. I rather be in alignment with like space project, like India's space project or China's space project. Oh yeah, I learned that substituting for a history class. I'm a substitute teacher, and I was substituting for this history class, and that's what they were teaching in the classroom. And I was like, wow, I like it here. First of all, I really like this teacher. Second of all, you know, so yeah, fun fact. And I went down a whole rabbit hole about it, and yeah, that whole astronomical stuff is a cover up. You speaking on Venus, Saturn, Moon trine? Am I? Yeah, I am. I am. The triangle that they're making. I was speaking on Saturn, Neptune's triangle with Uranus and Pluto earlier, but yeah, now I'm speaking on the moon and Venus. Venus is in the third house of community and communication. So your heart chakra is sitting in your intuition, aligning what you value and prioritize in your intuition. So again, um, it's a good time to prioritize, the astral projection, the spiritual rituals, having that faith, being in your intuition, following your gut, following your spirit, all those things. Those are great tools to have right now in this space and time while the universe is moving pieces and moving people that you haven't met yet to be in certain spaces to create a certain portal for you to have the things that you're trying to manifest. So, like I said, there's going to be space, there's going to be moments where you don't fully understand or overstand or understand, why the universe is making certain things move out of your space or, whatever. Like that was supposed to be a part of the plan. I was supposed to take this person with me. I was supposed to have that activity with me. I was supposed to take these things with me. And it's like, no, you don't. No, you wasn't. So you got to just trust the process and trust everything. The moon is in Scorpio in the sixth house of routine. Again, coming into the rituals. Water rituals are heavy here. So, like, you guys get into like your water. So you could just do rituals on yourself for real, for real. You know how they like talk into that glass of water, and how you speak into the glass of water determines how your molecular structure is set up. Start treating yourself like that glass of water. Be mindful of the things that you're saying to yourself. I'm not saying do like the toxic positivity thing, but like be intentional with your stuff. Like now lately I've been going to sleep to like meditations and frequencies and stuff. Like I've just been feeling inclined to doing that, and I really like what it's doing to my dreams, like where I'm going when my body is laying here. I go where I go, and I like how I feel when I wake up. It's been really cool, and I like how it's setting the tone for the day, and all these different things, and you just change how you talk to yourself. You're the glass, and then I also have another triangle for y'all. That I mean, I ain't done with y'all. This is slowly turning into a right angle triangle. The right angle will be at the sun. In fact, it's kind of like it pretty much is there at that 90 degree. I ain't gonna hold you. But the sun, is in the Leo constellation in the fourth house of home and family, which is the great time. Our experiences is in our nurturing sense of belonging, and right now we're having confidence and courageousness, being creative, being in our inner child of that wanderlust, and be mindful of being overly dramatic in that realm, because Leo is the energy of the thespian as well. Fixed and all the fixed energies are dramatic because they be fixed on things, but Leo is the fixed fire. So that's the corner of, excuse me, that's the corner of this triangle, the right triangle. And then the hypotenuse, yeah, I know my mathematics. The hypotenuse of the triangle is going from the moon into Uranus. So, we know that the moon is creating transformations, and that sense of belonging, home and family, on a ritual, on a, how you operate on a daily basis in that space with it being in the sixth house. And then the top part is Uranus providing those progressive pushes and what we value prioritize. So that's also putting the moon at opposition of Uranus too. So being aware of that, that opposition is happening there. I like to use oppositions as a wand. I know some people see oppositions and they're like, "Oh my God, they're gonna go to war." I like everything to complement each other. I like complementary. I'm a goddess of the crossroads. I don't like choosing one over the other. I'm here for peace. So in my mind, opposition is peace. Now, opposition is whatever you want to be. If you want them to be the ops of one another and you got to choose one another, that's your business. But I would advise you, especially when you get into your nodes, your north and south node, you don't use that rhetoric because that would definitely do you a disservice with aligning with your spiritual self, with your north and south node, or even your sun sign and your earth sign. Have you guys ever gotten to your earth sign? Your earth sign is always in opposition to your sun sign. My sun sign is in Virgo, so my earth sign is in Pisces. So while I'm having Virgo experiences, I'm on Pisces earth. You know what I'm saying? It's all in my head. It's all in my mindset. I live up there. Um how you feel on the yearly projection of Jupiter and Gemini? As far as Jupiter being a Gemini, is it's calling on communities to get formed, definitely. Start giving back to one another. I see Jupiter in the Gemini constellation. On the opposite of that is Sagittarius in the eighth house. So we don't really have any planets in Sagittarius right now until the winter time. Now when the winter time come and we got, new moon energy with our sun and moon and Mercury close by and Venus, little sextile and Sagittarius, was that like around December? That's going to be very interesting because Jupiter will be in opposition in Gemini. And that's going to be a really big time for philanthropy because you see, like, first of all, it's going to be winter time. You see the criminalization of poverty and homelessness, and I don't understand what else needs to happen for the community to be formed. um but in my mind, I would like to think that Jupiter and Gemini constellation is calling on that formation of community, of giving to one another and moving in that realm of abundance once you have that community, instead of sitting over here waiting and praying for the government or corporations or the Federal Reserve or whatever, what have you. I do like it there. It's also a space of expansion and abundance and how we communicate with one another. So the way that we communicate with one another could, ultimately undergo some level of transformation. We're always transforming how we communicate with one another, but I definitely see like eventually an exodus off of these like main streaming platforms and then something more in alignment with our community principles, as far as like us not having to speak in a special code so we don't get shadow banned for sharing information, or being blunt about our experience and how people are treating us. You know what I'm saying? Like that censorship. I see like people like that have like thousands of followers, if not in the millions, start to get shadow banned on these platforms. And once they start moving out, people are gonna follow suit. That's community, that's communication, that's Gemini energy. And Pluto's in Aquarius on the tropical chart. So it's creating those transformations in how we think about the ones and zeros, because Aquarius rules over technology and electronic communication. So and you will have those happenings happening with Jupiter and Gemini. So that's my take on it. You're more than welcome. I would. What's your take on it? Put that in the comments. What do you think? But yeah, coming back to this triangle, transformations happening in our home and family and our sense of comfort zone, bringing off that energy. And then we also have a cross. A cross is also in alignment with the star too. So you can either have the three triangles, the star in the sky, or a cross. And the cross is The cross is between Uranus and Taurus, providing the progressive pushes in what we value and prioritize, with the moon experiencing the transformations of Scorpio and our comfort zone and our routine. And then perpendicular to that is Pluto creating those transformations in our structure and our balance and discipline, being in opposition with Venus, valuing and prioritizing that sense of belonging, our emotional stuff, and our intuition. So that's a cross that we have in the sky as well. And that's what we have for the wheel for the 31st. So you guys got a lot of creation going. We have like, if when Venus moves like one more degree, we'll have an official pentagram around that star. We're getting there. We just need Venus to move just a smidget, like a degree or two, and then we'll have that full set on pentagram in the sky. And I don't know where my spellcasters is at. Y'all be so selfish. Y'all just be wanting to like tie people's tongues up for $200 and put people's money in the freezer and shit. Y'all be doing selfish ass spells. It's time for some community spells, some societal spells, some generational curses with the covens, with the collective, with the village. Like, where is y'all at? Y'all really only be coming here for transactional, like, pay me so I can put the nails in the cow tongue for the person that you're trying to hex. Like, bro, y'all corny as hell. It's time for us to get together and start having these seances against the powers that be that's having seances against us. Like, what the fuck? Also, where Saturn at currently is in the zone of NH spring. What do you mean by NH? What is NH? Oh, the northern hemisphere. Oh yeah, because it's at the top part, right? It's like yeah, it's at the top part of the sphere. Is that what you're saying? Oh no, yeah, okay. The year for me is like a year of alchemy with this Jupiter. Yeah, because Gemini deals with duality, right? It deals with like being moral and immoral, being brash, versus being brave, like that thin line, you know, between like you're doing the right thing versus okay, you're doing too much. Um, because we're dealing with the Gemini twins here, the two-headed twins. And then also this energy is ruled by Mercury, so it's decision making here too. A lot of people are going in that realm of decision making of what brings me joy, what brings me abundance, what brings me expansion. Jupiter also deals with long term planning as well as business. Business long term planning is big here too. So, um, you know, honestly, however you are, because Jupiter rules over the sacral chakra, wherever you are with the balance of your sacral chakra, the community is going to respond. So, whatever community you're in, that's a response to how you are in your sacral chakra. So, if you ain't got no community, that's saying a lot about how much you are indulging in your sacral chakra. And you probably have like a really big blockage there you might want to fix. All right. So, that's that for the wheel. We are entering, what is this? We are back at the first day of the week, where today is Yom Rishon, which is the first day. This is when God created light. This is a day of new beginnings and renewal in the Jewish tradition. This is the first day of the week, as seen as the start of creation, symbolizing hope, creativity, and the potential to begin anew. Yom Rishon's energy is new beginnings, light, and creation. Sunday is ruled by Lord Syria. It's so awesome finding another who uses real time planners for this room. Oh yeah, always love the conversation. I like seeing everybody's perspective and points of view and stuff like that. And then as far as the Hindu calendar goes, today's the day of Ravivar, which is ruled by Lord Surya, um, the sun god. Lord Surya is the source of light, vitality, health, and strength, representing the self, soul, and life force. Sun worship is integral to Hinduism, and Surya is considered the symbol of truth, wisdom, and good health. Sundays are considered auspicious for offering prayers to the Lord Surya to strengthen one's health, gain success, and seek vitality, reciting the Surya Gayatri mantra or performing the Surya Namaskar, the sun salutation, is a common practice. And I have my Bhagavad Gita. I told y'all, like, let's finish the Torah. I'm going to come back into my flow with reading the Torah with y'all daily. And then we're going to go back to Sefer Yetzirah because I really want to read that before I come to Bhagavad Gita. And then, I really want to get back into the Jewish texts too. I have I did want to read the Circle Seven with y'all too. Um, I got a lot of books I want to read with y'all. You know, I just getting back into my flow of things. I just started putting homeschooling back in my schedule. Started putting substitute teaching back into my schedule. So give me grace as I start to, juggle these hats again. Oh, Vedic style, interesting. Yeah, I do. I'm the goddess of the crossroads. I'm a Virgo, so I like to learn about everything. I'm here to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be like, oh well, we just gonna do it this one way, and this is the only way we're gonna do it. If you don't do it this way, you're not right. Like I don't be on that type time. I want to learn everything, all the cultures, all the times. As much as I can. Once I get my enunciation of the Mayan and the Aztec calendar, I'm gonna start doing that one too. Cause I've been writing notes on it. I get the gist of it. Shouts to Virgo Virgin Talk, the other podcast that I'm on. Ever since we had that first episode on the Mayans, I've been studying their calendar and how it moves, and it makes sense to me. And now that it makes sense to me, now I just gotta get my enunciation before I feel comfortable. I'm a little bit of perfectionist. I don't apologize for that. But yeah, I'm here to learn and absorb. And what I like to do is I see the patterns with everything. Not everybody does that. I see a lot of people like they pick a culture and they're like, this is the culture, or they'll pick a time period and say, this is the time period. So this is what we're called because during this period of time we were called this and we had this and we were doing this. And so they stick there and they stay there and yeah, they grow there, but they're just there. See, I like to be everywhere. I want to be in all the time periods. I want to be in all the cultures. I'm here to learn about the human experience, and that's just that. The human experience is very vast and infinite. So as much as I can learn about it, I'm here to learn about it. I'm not here to emotionally attach myself to one period, one culture, one empire, one thing, like, and I know that irritates a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Because I could agree with something and disagree with something at the same time, you know? And I don't really care. I don't care. I'm here and this is what I'm good at and this is what I'm known for. And it's very interesting how people like what I'm known for, but in the same breath they get irritated by it too. But it's neither here nor there. I'm a Taurus sun. Wait. Taurus rising, a Leo sun, a Pisces moon. Oh, cool. I'm Virgo sun, Virgo moon, Leo rising. Mhm. My Mercury and Venus and Virgo too. Well, in Leo constellation, but in Virgo. Ultimately, you will find that all those timekeeping points will bring you to the Zep Tepi. I gotta look into that. Gotta look into it. So that's what we have in those calendars. Trying to find my place. We are in a Scorpius constellation, so I'm trying to find the nakshatra that the moon is in. It's at 11 degrees. Almost there. I'm gonna make space to print this out too, because I really don't like being on the internet and scrolling up and all that. I just want to print this out, put it in a booklet, and I learn where everything is at in the booklet, and we're having a good time here. I like technology is cool and all, but I don't. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite human invention. We made better things. We've made better things. Okay. Um, when we get into Metu Netter, y'all know this is my Bible. Uh, But yes, please venture into those realms. Once you finish the Mayan, look into Zala. Hold on, let me write these things down before your comments get drowned out. Where's my clipboard? This is what I do in the middle of the night. Is I go through rabbit holes and I just be teaching myself stuff. Oh, that's South Africa. Okay. Calendar. Interesting. Thank you for that. Alright, so when we get into Metunetter, today is ruled by the sun, so we're gonna chat about it. Um, bum, bum, bum. This is Heru's energy, and Canaanite is Michael, and the Kabbalah is Tiphareth, which is the sixth Sephiroth. That's the one in the middle. That's the balance between the upper and lower. Actually, like when you look at the tree of life, Tiphareth or Heru is the one that's connected to all the Sephiroths or Netarus, and through one of the Hebrew letters, they're all connected. And Yoruba, this is Shango, and Hindu Kush is Bhuvaneshwari, and this is the six Sephora, like I said, red and white, ruby and garnet. Some herbs to have is poplar leaves, coxcomb, geranium, bay leaves, olibanum, geranium, and frankincense. The spiritual hakal is Hrim, Hrim. The planetary is Ong, Hring, Hring, Vrong. Spiritual direction is the west when you do the Hrim one. When you do the planetary, you want to go northeast. The energy that this gives on the animal spirit, which is our ninth Sephiroth, some positive traits is magnanimous, desirous of power and leadership, full of vitality, being strong-willed, zealous, noble, lofty, proud, ardent, authoritative, humane, reserved, above using underhanded means in a struggle against opponents. Some negative traits is being arrogant, extravagant, indecisive, overbearing, dictatorial, excessive pride, devitalized, tyrannical, boastful, yet empty and egotistical. Some mental traits is the will, circumspection, and insight. Career functions that may be on the forefront on a Sunday. People in authoritative position, father, mother in a one-parent household, king, prince, leaders, lieutenant, deputy, mayor, governor, boss, supervisor, etc., or self-employment. As far as the spiritual function goes, the will is the essence of our divinity. In the same manner that we help children develop by allowing them freedom to act within a circle of limitations, the Supreme Being develops man's divinity by allowing him a certain amount of freedom within a ring past not. The circle that man cannot pass corresponds to sacred structural lines that keep the world and its events in place. Outside of these, man has the freedom to choose what he will, but as we have seen, success depends on law and order. As Tahuti and Mayat correspond to the communication of the divine law to our mind and not its imposition, we have the freedom to follow or ignore it. This freedom of the will to follow or ignore divine law is the basis of our divinity. There is no divinity where there is compulsion. Um, so yeah. Our perfection of the men ob system depends on the upliftment of our character and our spiritual growth. Mm-hmm. So you have a circle that you gotta stay in alignment with, and then you got some freedom around it. So that's what we have there as far as the astrological wheel, the calendar, the Netaru for today. And now we're gonna get into today's astrological astronomical report, y'all. So we start the day off with a 49%. Today's actually the first quarter moon, so we're moving from waxing crescent to waxing gibbous. Waxing crescent was all about building on the intangible things, our mindset, our emotion, how we think things, how we feel things, how we intuit things. And so now we're about to move into waxing gibbous. You guys know that the full moon as well as the lunar eclipse is on the 7th. Just, pre-gaming yourselves, get y'all, altar or whatever ritualistic things y'all want to do ready. Um, But now we're in a space where we look back and think about these things you built on and you were working on during the crescent moon. Do you like them? Are these all things, the feelings and thoughts and emotions and mental manifestation? Are these all things you're willing to bring into the physical? Okay. Well, during waxing gibbets, now we're working on the physical things, bringing it into the tangible world or whatever, what have you. The moon, when we start the day, is at 6 degrees Sagittarius in the zodiac realm. So, how we're thinking about our sense of belonging and our nurturing self is in that space of expansion, abundance, traveling, philanthropy, philosophy, getting the wisdom from the oracle stages, being in our sensual, sexual self, our creative self, our reproductive self, and the events of our emotions, how our third eye is attracting our experience is in Scorpio. So lots of transformations happening. We talked about the moon being in Scorpio. Transfer. I can't talk. Let me take a second. Transformations happening in our sense of belonging and what nurtures us, right? Sunrise at 6:26 a.m. and it's setting at 7:32 p.m. That's on the EST. We are in Virgo zodiac, so our mindset on our experiences is on being, in our schedule, routine, our moral and integral code. Education is here, being of service, harvesting. So our mind is on the harvest season. However, we don't get to the harvest season until the 22nd. So we're still in the summertime till we get to the 22nd. Relax. But yes, our mindset is here until, we enter the actual Virgo constellation. Then we start moving in that harvest energy around the 22nd, right? Well, actually, like around the 17th, 18th is usually when the sun goes into constellation. So for those of you guys who are new to astrology and y'all like knowing off the bat like what somebody's Vedic chart is, remember the Ayanamasa is 24 degrees unless they were born before 1960, then it's 23 degrees. And basically, if somebody was born before the 15th of the month, most likely their Vedic chart, the previous sign. But if they were born after the 15th of the month, like around, after the 17th of the month, then more than likely they're tropical and their Vedic are in alignment. They were born after the 20 something of the month, is back into that energy, right? Give you an example. Right now, the sun is in Virgo, but it's also in Leo energy, right? Until we get to the 17th. Then from the 17th to like what, like the 22nd, 21st, 22nd, we'll have the sun in Virgo on the tropical and on the Vedic. So during that period of time, that little, those few days is when you meet people who have the tropical and the Vedic and Virgo. Me. My birthday is 9/19, gang gang. Um and then after that, then the sun enters Libra zodiac, but still in Virgo constellation. You know what I'm saying? So there's a small window for people who have the tropical and Vedic lineup. And that's why when people get to the Western chart, they be losing their mind. Like, this whole time, I thought I was. Well, honestly, your sun isn't even who you are. Your sun is the kind of experiences you have. Your ascendant energy is more so who you are, energetically speaking, right? Your rising sign. But your sun is the kind of experiences. The moon is how you feel your emotions, how you behave and treat, where you take that mask off, because the sun you got the mask on, mask on, mask off. Anyway, that's my little sidebar. Let me come back to what I was talking about. So the sun is in Virgo zodiac, so we're working on being of service stuff. Now it's in Leo constellation, so our experiences is still in that space of being in our inner child, being very laxed. We know Leo energy is very lax, chilling. Um, Bingo, the real you is the rising sign. Exactly, the real you is the rising sign. That's your energy that comes in the room before you even start expressing your sun sign. People feel that. Um, and so being in the Leo constellation, our events is still around, like, being lax, being in that the riches and the glory of the summertime, and being our best self, and wanting the things, and wanting also to be comfortable. Because Leo, think about like the behavior of a lion. Lions like to be with the pack. You know, the masculine energy is, a ruler to an extent, but the masculine energy relies on the feminine energy to get the things done. So that feminine, people in that feminine, Leo energy, they're the go getters, they're the doers. So they might be feeling that on the Leo vibe. Whereas like people that are on the masculine side of Leo energy, they're like, I'm going to chill a little harder, but I am in charge though, just because you were wondering. Um, so that's that blend there. And then we talked about the first quarter moon, which is going to be at 2:26 a.m. EST, and about 40 minutes or so, 30-40 minutes. Venus and Persepi have minimal angle today at 2:46 p.m. Venus will be 1.1 degrees south southwest, and we'll be able to observe that this morning if you guys decide to be up at 5:26 a.m. for whatever reason, with a 1.2 degrees southwest separation. Now Persepi is the star and the Cancer constellation. This is the star. It's not a very good star. It's heavy on the disgrace and the malice. Like in this star is kind of like it's the spirit of the ancestors. Let me start off with something positive. It is the spirit of the ancestors. You can't call on the ancestors through your heart chakra in this space and time here. However, in the same breath, Persepi deals with think about the behavior of a crab. A crab has the hard shell and the claws. So Persepi is like what the hard shell and the claws are protecting, but how does an animal act when they feel you getting to their most vulnerable self? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why my brain is going to dogs, probably because I'm around so many. I feel like St. Lazarus. But like dogs, to show that it's peace, they'll roll on their back and they'll reveal their belly. But could you imagine wrestling with a dog and you try to reveal his belly without his permission? Oh, he gonna go for your neck. You understand me? Does that make sense? Because that's what Persepi is. Persepi is that intuition. It is that Cancer spot. It's that midpoint between the 6 and the 9. Like here, you can get the prophecies. You can get to the ancestors. You can get that what you looking for, what we really know the Cancer to be. However, it's a lot of disgrace, malice, violence, a lot of push away, pushback and stuff to get to that, because that is like the belly of the dog and you're trying to open that up, with instead of allowing it to be revealed on its own. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully you get what I'm saying. That's the best analogy I can come up with, y'all. If you can find another one, go on and put it in the comments. I'll accept it. But our heart chakra is there, so you can get those prophecies. You might have to go through some turmoil to get there. Meaning, some cleansing some emotional baggage is important here. The moon is in Scorpio. You gotta clear some of that stuff away. It might get a little messy. You might have to have some open conversations outside of yourself, because you know other people are water too, and sometimes you gotta build and destroy outside of self. However, it needs to happen. The North Pole of the Moon is tipped into view at 11 p.m. tonight, so that's fun. And then one of the things that we have is we got a triangle happening with the midheaven at 12 degrees with Eros and Fortune. So success happening when you follow your heart and what you love to do, and also like empowerment is happening there, and that's fun. As far as the nakshatra that we're in, with the moon being in 11 degrees Scorpio, we're in the Anuradha nakshatra, which goes until 16 degrees. We do know that the moon moves 13 degrees a day. So we're going to start the day off in this nakshatra, but we'll end up in, excuse me, we'll end up in the next one. We'll end up in the 18th nakshatra by the end of the day, right? So the Anuradha, it goes from 3 degrees to 16 degrees. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which is known for its intensity, depth, and transformation. Relationships, alliances, and loyalty are the energy. The symbol for Anuradha is the lotus flower or the ribbon held in the hand. The lotus represents purity, spiritual growth, and then the ability to rise above difficulties. And the deity is Mitra, which is the god of friendship, alliances, and contracts. Mitra is known for his ability to foster trust, cooperation, and peaceful relationships. The ruling planet over this energy, because Mars rules over Scorpius energy, especially when we get into the chakras, because Mars rules over the solar plexus chakra. The internal side of the solar plexus chakra is ruled by Aries. This is the gut that controls the mind, that fire in your gut. And Scorpio energy rules over the external side of the chakras. If you guys ever need assistance, or you guys want to, a workshop or a one-on-one session, I do specialize in aligning your astrological placements into your chakras. That's what I do. That's my niche. I also specialize in aligning your astrological placements into your Sephiros, your Netarus, and my education background is in psychology. And I don't know if you guys noticed the mirror that a lot of the psychologists uh, stole. Yeah, stole the concept of the chakras and the Netarus and the Sephiro, and they changed the jargon to applicate to psychological theories and methods. And so I specialize in tying both of those back together because they never were supposed to be separate to begin with. Um, so if you guys ever want a reading or a session, or you want me to come to your next event and do a workshop to teach you guys how to do that yourselves, that's what I love to do, and that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I'm here to do. So let a goddess know. Anyway, let's come back to this nakshatra. Some positive traits is being loyal, devoted, and highly committed in your relationships. Some negative traits is feelings of restriction or emotional distance in relationships. I feel that every day because my earth is in Pisces. um, as far as when the moon transits here, it's a good time to focus on strengthening your emotional bonds. Relationships are founded on trust and loyalty. How long are your sessions? It depends on how long you want them to be. I do have them timed. I have 33-minute sessions. I got 66 or 99 is the highest. So you got 33, 66, and 99. I do a free 22-minute consultation where I introduce myself, you introduce yourself, and you go into detail. You let me, I kind of get to know you a little bit, and then I give you like a prescription, if you will, a recommendation of like just listening to you and da da da. Like, this is what I think, and we'll look at your chart, and I'll show you why I think what I think. um, and the yeah, and then after that we got the 33, 66, and 99. Um, but yeah, cleansing and purification, emotional cleansing. I just talked about that, right, with the moon and Scorpius constellation. And then by the end of the evening, we'll be in a Jayastha nakshatra, which is the 18th lunar mansion. That goes from 16 degrees Scorpio to 30 degrees Scorpio. It's ruled by Mercury and associated with the deity Indra. Um, it's still in Scorpio, so it still has that Mars energy. So we're in the space of like Mars and Mercury. So we start off with Mars and Saturn, which is very like, we don't really like it there. It's kind of like rough. Hey, handsome. Hey, Chakra. Um, yeah, we don't really like there. But by the time we get to like Mars and Mercury, it's more so like motivation and your decision making skills. So after you do all the ugly crying in the shower in the dark by yourself, then you can go ahead and move on to um making some decisions thereafter. The symbol for Jayastha is the earring or an amulet. Um, my night's good. How your night going? Oh, they stopped me. Um, a symbol represents protection, wisdom, and the ability to influence situations. The deity is the king of the gods. He's associated with power, leadership, and authority and victory. Also seen as a protector of the cosmic order. And Mercury rules this nakshatra, bringing qualities of intellect, communication, and mental agility. Um, be able to make decisions and think quick on your feet, right? And when the moon transits here, individuals feel a sense of emotional resilience and the ability. Now you have the ability because you just went through all the exercise and the hard work to handle complex or difficult situations with maturity and wisdom. Yeah, so it's a good time for self control and strategic thinking by the end of the day. So peace to y'all and y'all emotions, y'all third eye, your intuition, your crown chakra, all that fun stuff. While the moon is doing its thing through these nakshatras. You hear me? And so now we're gonna get into the planetary hour, and then I'm gonna read y'all out. Yeah, that's the end. We at the end. What other app are you on? No chat, Ross. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Meet Me. I'm on a lot of apps. I just be out here. Ah. All right, so we start on the sun because it's Sunday, of course. So the sun is all about our experiences, our vitality. When we're dealing with the sun, we're dealing with, our external self and how we express ourselves. Um, different activities that put you in a space of expression or having certain experiences during the hours of the sun is it's fun. We like it there, right? We like it there. Do y'all like it there? Also, activities that boost your confidence and your leadership skills. Um, I think she referring to the moon mansion. Oh, nakshatras. Oh, yeah, nakshatras are lunar mansions. So, you know how we have like the 30-degree zodiac wheel? Well, you could break that 30-degree zodiac wheel into like 13-degree segments. And the 13-degree segments have their own rulers. Um, and so we call them lunar mansions. The moon moves 13 degrees a day, and because of the way because everything is not a complete circle, it gets a little fuzzy. In a perfect world, we would be in one nakshatra a day, but it doesn't always flow that way. So we have these lunar mansions. They're 13 degrees each, and then you could break the lunar mansions down into padas. You get 4 padas per nakshatra, and that's when you get into like the stars in each nakshatra and the electromagnetic field each star gives off. They all have their own deity that rules all over them. They have their own, planetary rulership. So it's like an energy within the energy. It's kind of like, when you look at a zygote or like the tree of life or whatever. It's like a circle in a circle. It's energy within the energy. And these are the lunar mansions because these are the spaces that the moon goes through during its 28 days cycle. Yep. Um, but coming back into the sun's hours are from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., and then 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., and then 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Those are the hours of the sun. And then we get into the hours of Venus. Now, Venus is all about being in your creative self. You guys are in a relationship, romantic pursuits, is good for Venus. Shoot your shot or something. What you value, what you prioritize. If you guys want to like shine your silver or something, because Venus is also materialistic. We're in that space too. Venus rules over the heart chakra, and the internal side is Taurus. The external side is Libra. So dealing with the traits of those two, and then remembering that Venus is a part of like 2 triangles and a star in the sky today, and it's in Cancer energy right now, so it's in that space of nurturing. So I would get into some activities actually nurturing and finding a sense of belonging with what you value and prioritize, and walking in your truth, and what the balance scales look like for you, right? Venus hours are from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., and 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Um, okay, I've never heard of this, and I've been studying self for 9+ years. Give thanks. You're welcome, love. Always an honor. Um, then we get into Mercury. Mercury's hours are, if you guys are in trading, that's a good time. Decision making, scheduling stuff, a sense of routine, something like that. That's all Mercury. We know Mercury rolls over the throat chakra, so if you want to get into some type of expression, learning, teaching, speaking, the throat chakra is also associated, like, when you blend the worlds between the throat chakra, the chakras, and the netarus or the sephiros, you'll realize that Mercury energy also rules over the solar plexus chakra, because in order to because you have to express your boundaries, which is a form of enforcement. Okay. But yeah, so that's what Mercury rules over, is your expression. If you don't express yourself, if you decide to suppress yourself, you get depressed. So remember that. Don't depress yourself, especially my Mercurians that like to go into that overthinking room and overdoing it and stuff like that. It's because you're suppressing yourself. Um, but yeah, that's a good time for making decisions, and getting into your schedule, doing some cleaning or analyzing something, studying, all that stuff like that. Short term planning, short term goal planning, like the daily routine type thing, is Mercury. Now, Mercury's hours are from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., and then 11 p.m. to midnight because, yeah, because I said so. Because then we get into the moon at midnight tomorrow for Moon Day. But the moon's hours are good for like home and family, being tapped into your feminine energy, your nurturing self. If you want to clean your house, organize some things in your house, call your mama, your matriarch, your grandmother, whatever. We're in that space. And we know the moon is in Scorpio energy, so you might want to do like that emotional baggage situation, cleanse some things, let some things go, put some things in the water, and just let it go. Um, and then we get into the 18th nakshatra, so having that emotional strength to make decisions thereafter. So the moon's hours are from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., and then midnight. Of course, we start moon day at a moon hour, right? Then we get into Saturn deals with discipline, karma, um how you regulate yourself. When I think of Saturn, I think of like getting into like do some tai chi or some type of like martial arts self discipline type thing. Uh Watching Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. I don't know. Saturn deals with your internal discipline, law and order, your authority of self. So getting into the roots of things. So if you want to get into like some root chakra work too, Saturn is good for it, right? Saturn actually rules over your root chakra, um, which is the internal side is Aquarius, which is our mindset on society, our attachment and detachment, and the different entitles we give the titles. And then that is it. The external side is Capricorn, which creates the challenges that's based upon that Aquarius energy, and our authority of self and stuff like that. So, that's all in the root chakra. And so root chakra's hours are from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m., 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., and then 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then we get into Jupiter. Jupiter is about expansion, abundance, the oracle, sage. We get into long term planning here. So big time planning is for Jupiter. We also do study. You could study here because we get into wisdom, intellect, paying attention to those parts of self. We know Jupiter, we had that conversation about Jupiter being in Gemini. So you might want to deal with like philanthropy with your communicating, what you want from a community, having philosophies on that realm of things, getting, information from those. Thank you. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you for following and everything. So Jupiter's hours are from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., and then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then, last but certainly not least, we get into Mars. Mars is um Mars is about your energy. It's not so much the same way as like the sun is that deals with vitality and your experience and expression. This Mars more so is about your solar plexus chakra and how you assert yourself. Like when I think of Mars, I think of like let's get into some CrossFit. But then you can also get into fasting because Mars rules over the gut that controls the mind. Mars also rules over the blood vessels. So like if you want to break fast, if you want to go into fast, dragon breaths, like anything involved in the gut or the cleansing of the blood vessels or the pumping of the blood vessels, like getting into cardio or something like that. I think that is all good for Mars energy, right? How you exert yourself. Also, strengthening your willpower. And, this is a good time to work on your Zazen or your Zen, however you want to talk about it. Um, because, that deals with high blood pressure, which can be like, anger and triggers and stuff like that. So being mindful of that. But Mars hours are from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., and then 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that is the planetary hours. And to read you guys out so I can let y'all go, because you guys been with me for almost an hour, the theme for today is calendula. We are with the one, that leadership energy, right? Purity is here. This is the sun card. So this is like walking through our reality with the mindset, the optimism, the joy, the wanderlust, the curiosity of a child, a naked child at that. So you're being pure and vulnerable here as well. So we're in the space of purity. Knave of chalices. Remember, especially while the moon is going through these nakshatras that they're going through, You are the creator of your reality. You are the creator of your actions. You tell yourself what you're here to experience, what you're here to do. Nobody else has the power to do that. Even if somebody had a gun to your head and was like, yeah, you gonna blah 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 blah, you still have to make the decision if you gonna take that bullet or if you're gonna, do what is being told. So it's up to you what you want to do. Now, a lot of us like to give our energy away and say, well, it feels like they're making me, or they got their foot on my neck, or, da 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 da, this, that, and that. But it's all choices. Oh, how would I pay my bills? How would I do that? Well, you prioritize those things, and you have a choice to either think around those things or not think around those things. It's still putting you in that space of being the Knave of Wands. You are the one that's in charge of your experiences. Okay? Take your power back. Take your power back. Stop giving your power to jobs and government and people on the internet and your family and people that died hundreds of thousands of years ago and your children and your spouse, and take your power back and say, you know what, I'm making choices to deal with these things, and I either want to keep dealing with them because I enjoy it, and now you can stop complaining, because now hey, you're the one in charge, you're the one that's choosing this, so what are you complaining for? Like this here right here, my man's complaining. What are you complaining for? You're choosing all of this. You know what I'm saying? Be in that optimism energy. Like, okay, these things that I'm doing could be hard, but I'm choosing them and I want to choose them and I'm going to keep choosing them because that's what I want to choose. Stop coming from this complaining spot, especially for those of you guys that like to serve and give and do for others. It's like y'all do it and then y'all complain the whole time y'all doing it. Like, bro, you and I both know you like to serve, you like to give, you like to problem solve, you like to be useful, you like to be used. So, I mean, unless you develop some type of boundaries, which is probably what you probably need better boundaries so that you can stop attracting people. First of all, learn how to say no. Learn when, not coming from a space of scarcity, but know what you have the capacity to do and what you don't have the capacity to do. You know what I'm saying? Have an internal law. Like, if certain things is like this, then I'm not going to do that. Like, you have the power to create your own algorithms within self, like your if then statements. We learned about this in math. If this is going on, then that is going on. You need those for yourself and your actions. And when you are volunteering your body, your mind, and your energy to certain activities so that you can stop walking around acting like this. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that going well, you the one that's been in control this whole time. You know? Yeah. And then what parts of stuff we gonna focus on? Well, we're going to focus on our Chokma, which is Jupiter energy. This is our Tahuti, our our intellect, our wisdom from the oracle stages, our expanded self before we get to that restricted understanding of Saturn. So we're here, we're broad, we're spanning, we're studying, we're long-term planning, we're painting outside the lines, we're walking through life as a optimistic child. Children don't. I've never seen a toddler paint or color in the coloring lines. Right? They have to be taught that. They have to be coerced to do that, right? Like you got to be like, oh, this is nice, but can you color inside the lines? Can you keep it neat? Can you keep it neat? Remember that? Remember how I used to color what however you wanted to color, and some until somebody made you feel bad about coloring outside of the lines. Now you're a stickler for coloring inside the lines. Now you're proud of it. Look how neat I colored it. Now, no, go back to coloring outside the lines. Your picture was way better than that lined out picture that's already there. You're here to create your own picture. I remember, my son is an Aquarius moon. He's a Taurus sun Aquarius moon. He drives me nuts. No, I'm not okay. And so I remember one time he had this Ninja Turtle phase. I went to go get him an activity book, but like I didn't know which one to get. So I'm like, reaching out to him like, hey babe, like I want to go get you this activity book. It's Ninja Turtles. I think it'll be cool. Like, got the little things in there you can color and stuff. You know what this child told me? He was like, I don't need nothing telling me what the color. And I'm talking to a 6-year-old. That's what 6 years. He's 11 now, and he's still combative. He's getting more combative because he's 11 now. But yeah, color outside them lines. It's your picture. If you don't want to color in the lines, don't color in the lines. Now, if you like coloring in the lines, go ahead and color. But if you are coloring in the lines, be real with yourself. Are you coloring in the lines because that's what you were taught? Because you were shamed? Other kids laughing at you, the teacher telling you you didn't do it right. You know what I'm saying? Your parents telling you to do it over. People erasing stuff, saying it's not neat enough. It's not neat enough. Have those real conversations, especially while Moon is over there in Scorpio, is allowing us to transform that emotional baggage anyway. And because y'all keep coloring in the lines and being all neat and not being in your chokma, you are allowing your solar plexus chakra to dissipate. You are creating a cookie cutter for your solar plexus chakra. Your solar plexus chakra has its own like flares and its own heat and its own waves and all that and rays, all these different things your solar plexus chakra has on its own, and you're making it neat and clean. And so there's parts of your solar plexus chakra that's just dissipating. It's not getting the attention. It's not being allowed to exert itself. And that gets depressing sometimes, Or sometimes when people don't feel like they're controlling their reality, because control is a part of the solar plexus chakra. So if the people don't feel like they have a control over their reality, they try to control other people. They, especially on these apps, they're quick to run on somebody's picture and give their opinion, and as a means of control. Because I think this, I'm going to insult you until you color in the lines like I am. You understand what I'm saying? Stop doing that. That's a show of imbalanced solar plexus chakra. You can't control yourself. You can't control your reality. You feel out of control. So the first thing you do is try to control something outside of yourself. Try to control somebody else who is coloring out of the lines because you think they should color in the lines like you've been taught. No, no, no. Okay. So be mindful of that. Also, social problems coming here, and then I like that it's on a 22, so it's at the number of like the master architect, which is for that establishment, culture, and freedom in the mathematics. Social problems can come out of here because one, you've been coloring the lines, you've been playing nice, you've been a good person, you've been a good boy, a good girl, you've been a teacher's pet. You made sure you did everything right. You know how to cross your T's and dot your I's like you were taught. You fold your hands when you're done. You double, triple check your work, knowing damn well you know what you know and don't know what you know the first time you went through it. All these different things, you know what I'm saying? But now you're making the choice of, you know what? I'm going to go back to the sun card. I'm going to go back to my inner child. Who was my child before she was indoctrinated, before she was educated, before she was trained? He too. I don't mean just say she, but he too. I'm gonna go back to that child before that child was tamed, trained, and beat. A lot of y'all make jokes about being beat. You guys were beat into obedience by your parents. You were punished into obedience by your parents, by your teachers, by your job, by your coworkers, by your peers, by your colleagues. You were constantly chastised, shamed, embarrassed, and beat to color in the lines. How about you go back to that person that was never beat, that never got that first ass whooping, that never got that first embarrassment? Go back to that person. Figure out who that person is. It is going to create some social problems. Why? Because you're going to see how many other people embrace the fact that they were beat. They even make jokes about it. Ha, my parents used to beat me so I got real obedient. Ha, ha, like, life was beating me up. And it wasn't even like beating you up. It was the society you chose to be around. But once you choose to color out the lines, guess what? Them people that's over here that love being beat and continue to be beat and want to stay coloring in the lines and being boring and shit, they're not gonna want to fuck with you no more. Now you're the person they are commenting on, like, how dare you wear that? How dare you say that? How dare you believe that? Are you touching tarot cards? Are you into astrology? You're taking herbs instead of taking Tylenol. Oh, you're not going to eat burgers anymore. You want to eat vegetables. Oh, you're eating for your blood type now. Oh, you're doing this. Oh, you want to homeschool. Oh, you want to do this. Oh, you want to do that. You want to wear shorts too short. You want to be a nudist now. You want to do these things. You want to make music. You want to be an artist. You want to change your career choice. You want to buy land instead of buying another trip. You want your life to be the vacation instead of you having to escape from the reality, teaching you how to color in the lines. You want to do these things. How dare you? Yeah, you're gonna have social problems. All them people you used to hang out with, you're not gonna be able to hang out with no more. When I stopped drinking, when I had my second son, I don't want to drink no more. I don't want to party no more. I don't want to keep complaining about the same stuff no more. I don't want to do none of that no more. Guess what? The people that was trauma bonding with me, drinking with me, and all that stuff like that, they didn't like me no more. It started with the insults. They're trying to shame me. A drink, take a drink, take a drink. You corny as hell. Take a drink, take a drink. That's how it started. I got tired of that. Like, bro, how is y'all shaming me and trying to embarrass me for wanting to be better and do better? And that's weird. You start seeing how weird shit is, how odd it is. Like, that's y'all form of communication when I'm trying to be better. You gonna, then people start reminding you about who you are. Remember. Like, no, I don't want to remember. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Oh yeah, me and my sons, I got the little blood type things on Amazon where we tested our blood. So I got their little blood cards or whatever, and I got into eating for our blood type. Wednesday, September 10th, 2 p.m. What you see, Virgo, and happy birthday, Virgo. Peace, happy birthday, Virgo. Is that what you're saying? That it's your birthday? But yeah, don't let nobody, play with you. So, hopefully today you guys go into your inner child, especially because today is Sunday. So, pull in the sun card, being in your vulnerable, pure self before you started getting shamed and all that stuff like that. And remember that you're the writer of your story. So, like, you're the adult that your inner child was praying for. Like, your inner child was probably like, bro, these kids keep picking on me. The teacher trying to embarrass me and shame me. My parents is doing this, my cousins is doing that, my siblings do, like, everybody want me to be like this. And I don't want to be like this. But now you're the adult that gives you permission to be like this. You're the adult now. You're the parent to yourself. You're the one that can tell yourself, like, okay, we can go do those things now. It's me. I'm here now. I'm who you manifested. I'm who you prayed for at night. I'm the one that understands you. I'm the one that loves you. I'm the one that's here for you. And I promise when you walk in that authenticity, you're going to start to attract other people that are going to be in alignment, that also are adhering to their inner child. And they on the same type time as you. And then y'all can all be childish together. And we love it here. um, but that's what I got for y'all today. I hope, it helps you guys on your journey today. That sounds like a very strong message. A very important message that we often forget, especially the way society is trying to beat us right now, trying to beat us into submission. Shouts to Leo. I was in his live today, and he played a Bobby Hemmett video that I watched not too long ago, a couple days ago. And one of the things that Bobby Hemmett said, and I'm gonna bring it up right now, is as far as like our melanin goes, everybody has some type of level somewhere, some way. That's a different conversation for a different day. I know you get into the other things and stuff like that, but the melanin does not operate the way it's supposed to operate when we're under stress. And you figure we've been dealing with stress since we were in our mother's wombs. You know what I'm saying? Since our mothers were in our grandmother's wombs. It's been generational stress. It's been a generational turmoil. It's by design that if you turn on the TV, it's constant elements to keep you in stress. Whether it's you living vicariously through celebrities and television shows and seeing their drama and their stress and you're absorbing it as your own and now you're projecting it out the world, like especially like relationship type shows, relationship drama shows, and you're watching them and you're like, oh my god, I would never deal with a man treat me like that. I never deal with a woman treating like me like that. That's why people ain't shit and that's why friends ain't shit and this that, and you're projecting that in the world and you're keeping yourself at high stress. Society has this high stress on a financial level. People don't know where they're going to get their next meal. Homelessness has been criminalized, which it's always been criminalized, but now it's like heavy, like in your face, like especially because people were starting to live in their vehicles comfortably. People starting to live in RVs and tents comfortably and realizing like I don't even want to deal with this shit no more. So now like people's statements of I want to be the authority of myself and do this is now being criminalized. It's being done in an indirect way. I wouldn't even say passive aggressive because I wouldn't even give passive aggressiveness that level of disrespect. This like really some weird, like this is really some like punk shit. Honestly, it's punk shit how they going about it. They're making it about something that is not, but you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? We have grown comfortable in our spirituality. We've started creating businesses. We're supporting each other's businesses. We're supporting each other's platforms. We no longer want to, invest in the landlord. The feudalism in 2025 is ghetto. 2025 and we still got feudalism, got landlords and shit. Do y'all not hear the words that we use in this shit that we learned in history books? Why are we still doing this? I don't care if you're a small business landlord and you got two properties. You still a piece of shit to me because there's no way that you're treating a basic necessity that everyone should have. Everybody needs a shelter. How the fuck are you using that as an investment opportunity? Cuz you learned about it on YouTube and it's a high ticket item. You're a piece of shit. You're a slave driver. You're a piece of shit. Wear that. I feel that from the pit of my fucking soul. Bro, you're a piece of shit. There's no good landlord in my eye. Just like y'all can sit here and say there's no good cop. There's no good landlord. You're a part of the fucking problem. You're a piece of shit. Stop using people's needs for basic necessities as a come up. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. Okay? But anyway, neither here nor there. That's how people feel about people that are homeless. You're disgusting, right? Because how dare you be poverty stricken in a world where we have all these jobs listed on Indeed that's not really hiring, especially if you check off certain ethnicities and disabilities and you have a certain name and you live in a certain zip code that is poverty stricken, and we've criminalized, we've redlined that particular zip code that's on your resume and whatnot. Yeah, it's a game. It's a game. You know what I'm saying? The game be in your face, especially when you try to purchase car insurance or life insurance, health insurance. Was it health insurance and car insurance? They're legally mandated, right? Learned the hard way that even if you don't have a car, you should have car insurance. I was literally a pedestrian crossing the street. I don't have a car. And I realized, hey, you should have had car insurance. Otherwise, you would have had lawyers to protect you, and you would have had a better experience learning how to walk again. Go figure that the fuck out. We live in a world that has you at a heightened stress so that you cannot utilize your body correctly. You cannot utilize your spirit correctly. You're not in tune with all your senses because you're at this overactive solar plexus at all times. And it makes it difficult for you to activate your other chakras at a regular rate. It's kind of like your blood flow is all going to this one area to keep that at a heightened level. Selling your soul, SOL, that's your solar plexus chakra, that's your energy. That's your gut. That's the gut controls the mind. Everybody sells their soul to something, somewhere, you know? So being mindful of that. I just want y'all to pull the sun card on yourselves today. Pull the Knave of Wands card on yourself today and be in control of your soul. Stop selling your soul to other people and entities and businesses. And definitely stop selling your soul to the Federal Reserve. That's a private owned company. I don't give a fuck how many pieces of paper they print out. That's a private owned company. They literally create the paper. That's their business. And it flows through. And it only exists if we believe in it and we support it. And the moment that we say, hey, nah, because y'all creating too much stress. Like, it's too much stress to upkeep this private owned company. Same thing y'all would do with anything else. You would replace it, right? You would say, nah, we don't want to deal with this no more. Nah, we don't want this. Nah, we're going to replace this with something else. Y'all would do that with an air conditioner. Y'all would do that with a fan. Why wouldn't you do that with something that consumes so much of your life to where it even affects how you interact and raise your children, how you interact and care for your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your cousins? Like, it's very heartbreaking. It's just a private owned company that prints fucking paper, bro. It's no different than Hallmark that prints cards. It's just a different kind of piece of paper with different kind of art on it. It's just like, yo, like it's really that fucking asinine. You could really think of it on that level. Like, take $1 out of your pocket right now and just like tear that shit up type shit. Like, yo, it really don't mean nothing. It's really nothing. It's really ones and zeros on a computer screen, and somebody could press a button right now and take that shit away from you or add a whole bunch of shit to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I won't get too far into it. I just came here for the astrological, astronomical, numerological report. I won't hold y'all with a rant, but that's just, that's my thought process. How I think. I pull the sun card on myself always because I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo rising. This is what I do. Y'all do what y'all do. I'm a color outside the lines. Y'all have fun over there. It's not easy to color outside the lines. It's not rainbows and butterflies, But it's definitely not rainbows and butterflies on that other side of the fence neither. And I choose which side of the fence and what kind of challenges I would rather deal with. You know what I'm saying? You choose what works for you. So on that note, I will let y'all go. I'm finna lay down because I gotta get up tomorrow for Sunday service. Peace, peace, y'all. Ooh, my finger look long as hell. Peace, y'all.